bottom of the control panel. We will be answering a few questions during the webinar. However, if we are unable to address your questions during the webinar, someone will follow up with you by email afterwards. For those of you registered and logged into the live webinar, you can download a copy of the slide deck now. It's located in the handout section of the chat pane, just above the questions area. You'll see a few documents there as well. Feel free to download these too, as our presenter will be referring to these documents during his presentation. With that, let's get started. Today's presenter is Andrew Thomas, Lab Manager here at WESTPAK, a third-party product and package test laboratory with facilities in San Diego and San Jose, California. Andrew began his career at our San Diego laboratory immediately following his graduation from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in 2010. He holds a BS in Industrial Technology. During the past 8 years, Andrew advanced through each level of WESTPAK's rigorous test engineering structure to the esteemed lab manager position he's achieved. In his spare time, Andrew actively participates in Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America here in the San Diego area. Here's what we will be covering today. First, Andrew will get us started with a short introduction to e-commerce and some definitions. Part 1 of his presentation will focus on the Amazon fulfillment process and how meeting the ISTA 6 Amazon packaging requirements are essential to its success. He'll discuss the APASS network and 3 different packaging types before we stop a few minutes for questions. In part 2 of today's presentation, Andrew will focus on the package certification process. He'll provide you with information you can use to ensure your package passes the first time. Finally, we'll stop again for questions and answers. Once again, submit your questions using the chat pane located near the bottom of the control panel. If we are unable to address your question during the webinar, someone will follow up with you by email afterwards. Andrew, the audience is ready. Take it away.
Thank you for that introduction, Andrew. Welcome everybody to the ISTA 6 Amazon webinar. I'd like to begin by mentioning the importance of e-commerce. Since its inception, e-commerce has been gaining momentum each year. By 2021, it's estimated that sales will reach $4.5 trillion. One of the main benefits of e-commerce is the ability to conduct research. More than 80% of all shoppers conduct online research before making a purchase. Of these shoppers, 3/4 would like their orders shipped the same day, and 2/3 would like to receive those products within hours of ordering. From a packaging standpoint, this underscores the importance of using the proper packaging materials and methods. The ISTA 6 Amazon standards we'll be going through today will help test and verify that your packaging is robust enough to prevent damage during shipping and reach the customer in new condition. This brings us to Amazon. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but Amazon is a giant when it comes to e-commerce. Amazon makes up for over 40% of all online sales. Over 50% of all product searches online begin at Amazon. Like any large company, Amazon likes to use their acronyms. We'll be going over a few right now that you hear throughout the presentation. APASS is Amazon Packaging Support and Supplier Network. ASIN or ASIN is Amazon Standard Identification Number. FFP is frustration-free packaging. PFP is prep-free packaging. OB stands for Overbox. SIOC stands for ships in own container. And FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. One of the first acronyms we'll be going through today is fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA. So what is it? Fulfillment by Amazon is a service available to vendors and sellers to choose to have Amazon fulfill orders. The diagram on this slide goes over the FBA process. A seller will send their product to Amazon to hold at a fulfillment warehouse. From there, once the customer submits an order, Amazon will pick, pack, and ship the order to the customer. There are several benefits to the FBA service, including Amazon-provided customer service, along with handling of customer returns. When using the FBA service, to decrease cost and increase efficiency, you as a seller can have your product certified on one of the 3 package certification types. On this slide, we'll go over Amazon's certification pyramid that details the 3 package types, followed by examples in the following slides. At the top of the pyramid is FFP, or frustration-free packaging. The FFP package type is also optimized for customer experience and sustainability. An FFP package uses curbside recyclable material, is easy to open with minimal packaging, and ships without an Amazon Overbox. The second certification type is SIOC, which stands for Ships in Own Container. this package type will not be placed in an Amazon Overbox. Both FFP and SIOC require no additional prep on Amazon's part during the FBA process. Both are certified following the ISTA 6 Amazon SIOC certification test. The final type, PFP on the other hand, ships in an Amazon Overbox. Again, no additional prep is required on Amazon's part. The PFP package type is certified through the 6 Amazon Overbox test standard. And all three of these package types have the requirement of minimal damage with low defect rates. To help vendors and sellers through the certification process, Amazon put together a certification guideline document. This document is available through the vendor and seller portals and will be provided as a download in this presentation. This document details the requirements of the three certification types and addresses common questions and concerns. On this slide, we have an example of a Fisher-Price toy that is an FFP package type. On the left, you can see an FFP compared to the traditional packaging on the right. Amazon designated the FFP package type in hopes to reduce waste and be more environmentally conscious. Just by looking at the two, you can see there's a lot less packaging material used for the FFP package. Not only is this package easier to open, but less waste is produced as a result of this design. The traditional package, on the other hand, still requires the use of an Amazon Overbox. The package design has graphics and cutouts since it was designed for display at a retail store. One of the benefits of e-commerce is that the customer is doing their research online and generic packaging can be used, since the graphics are not required to grab the customer's attention. On this slide, we have an example of an SIOC package. SIOC packages typically come straight from the manufacturer in a package specifically designed for that product. In many cases, SIOC packages will be heavier items that require some type of cushioning to protect the product. For this example, we have a Sesame Street toy set. However, at WESTPAK, we have seen multiple products like kitchen mixers and TVs. Both the TV and kitchen mixer are heavier items that will have customized cushioning and packaging to fit that product exactly. The final package type we'll be going over is a PFP package type, or prep-free package. This package type utilizes an Amazon Overbox that I'm sure we're all familiar with. Many different product types fit this category. Depending on how many items a customer orders, the PFP package type has the option to be sent as a single or multiple item shipment. Since your product may be sent with other items, it is important to make sure that the packaging is robust enough to withstand hazards seen in the distribution environment and to prevent damage. Obtaining certification will give your product, package, and listing several benefits. Going through certification testing will give you greater confidence that your product will remain undamaged during shipment. Obtaining an FFP certification will allow your product to get a unique ranking on Amazon and separate your listing from other similar products. By using the FBA service, it will allow your product to become Prime eligible to appease those shoppers that want their orders as soon as possible. At the bottom of the slide is this table pulled from Amazon certification guideline document that details a few of the additional benefits based on the package certification type. Some fees are applied if you decide to use the FBA service. Some of the typical costs are listed on this slide. There may be order handling, picking and packing, weight handling, and storage fees. You also may have additional costs if your product is not certified in one of the three package types. This will include any additional identification, packaging, and prepping that is done by Amazon to send your product. If you go on the vendor or seller portal, Amazon has an FBA revenue calculator that you can use to determine the fees and revenue based on your package type. I'd like to give a quick background on how and why the ISTA 6 Amazon test standards were developed. Amazon worked with ISTA, which stands for the International Safe Transit Association, to develop the ISTA 6 Amazon project standards. Two sets of standards were developed covering the three package classifications mentioned earlier. The two test standards each contain specialized test sequences to simulate real-world shipping environment through Amazon's distribution chain. These procedures contain sequences of tests that are standardized and repeatable. By subjecting your package through these tests, you as a seller, along with Amazon, can gain greater confidence that there will be no damage during shipment. Depending on the certification type, there is also an opportunity to create less waste. After Amazon and ISTA created these test standards, the next step Amazon took was to create APASS. APASS stands for Amazon Packaging Support and Supplier Network. So what is it? APASS is a network of third-party labs that have obtained approval from Amazon to conduct testing and provide certification based on results for testing. It is designed to help sellers, vendors, and manufacturers certify their product in an Amazon network. Now that we've touched on the background, the first standard we'll go through is the OB or Overbox test series. As mentioned earlier, the OB test standard is for the PFP certification type and utilizes the brown boxes that Amazon ships to customers. The OB test sequence covers shipments 70 pounds or less. Those of you that are familiar with ISTA test standards, this sequence is very similar to ISTA 3A. There are two test configurations that the package will go through. These include a single item shipment and a multiple item shipment. Since there can be so much variability in product sizes, the standard has a table to determine which overbox size to use based on the product dimensions. Inside of this overbox, air pillows are used as void space for single item shipments, and hazard boxes are used for multiple item shipments. Correct tape placement is also defined in the standard. One thing to note, since we are simulating the worst case scenario, the product is placed in the most damage-prone area facing the inner corner of the overbox. It's important to take this into consideration when choosing and designing the packaging for your product. The table on this slide goes over the Overbox test sequence. There are 4 required tests for all product types, and additional leak tests if your product is liquid. The first test is atmospheric preconditioning. This is a temperature and humidity test that requires the package to remain at ambient conditions for a minimum of 12 hours. The second sequence is an optional controlled temperature and humidity test. We recommend conducting the test if you're concerned about your product being affected by hot, cold, or humid conditions. The second required test is a drop test for sequence 3. There are a total of 9 drops following a specific sequence with different orientations and drop heights. Following this, we have random vibration testing for sequence number 4. This random vibration profile simulates vibrations that the package will see during shipment. Following this, another round of drop testing is conducted for sequence 5. There are an additional 8 drops at different heights and orientations. And finally, if your product is liquid, there's a final leak test for a duration of 8 hours. This covers the test sequence for PFP certification. The second test standard developed by Amazon and ISTA is the SIOC, or Ships in Own Container procedure. This standard is for certification of FFP and SIOC package types. This standard is a little more complex than the Overbox standard due to different package configurations it covers. There are a total of 8 package classifications that the standard splits based on the handling method, weight, and girth. Types A through C cover parcel shipments. Parcel shipments are your typical hand-delivered boxes that can go through UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Types D through F cover LTL or less than truckload packages. These are the bulkier packages that are handled by mechanical means like a forklift. Types G and H are specific to TV. Type G covers parcel, while Type H covers LTL handling of TVs. As mentioned on the previous slide, the test type and sequence your package will go through will be determined by the properties of your package. The list on this slide is an excerpt from the standard and will help determine what test type sequence your package will follow. We don't have enough time to dive deep into each of these sequences, but we'll just go through and briefly touch on each one. All of these test sequences will include similar tests. For example, the parcel shipments types A through C and G for TVs will go through conditioning, drop, vibration, and compression testing. Tests like concentrated impact and bridge impact may also be conducted depending on the test sequence. If your product is liquid, it's required that it will go through the same leak test as the OBE procedure. Types D, E, F, and H will go through additional tests since they tend to be larger, bulkier packages. Tests like incline impact, tip or tip over, and rotational drops may be conducted. If you would like more information about these tests, we have detailed information on our website. I wanted to take a second to review types G and H since they are new for 2018. Amazon felt it was necessary to separate TVs into their own test types due to the high frequency of damage that they were seeing during shipment. Most TVs will be categorized as Type G for parcel shipment. The Type G parcel simulation more closely resembles the distribution environment and is a more robust test that has a greater chance to damage the TV. For drop testing in this sequence, we do not catch the TV samples. This may seem extreme in some cases, but it most closely resembles the worst case scenario seen during shipment. So after going through one of these test sequences, how do you know if you pass? Both Amazon and ISTA have acceptance criteria listed in the standard. One thing to note, the acceptance criteria must be agreed upon and defined prior to testing. In general, the acceptance criteria include product damage or any broken product. The product needs to be fully functional for its intended use. If it is a liquid, there can be no leaks. Any secondary package that is considered part of the product must be free from damage as well. For the Overbox test sequence, any tamper-evident application or seals must not be compromised and remain sealed after testing. Determining the acceptance criteria and how much damage can be allowed can be tricky since it's a little bit subjective. One practice you can do is put yourself in the customer's shoes and consider what would be acceptable to you. A good reference to go back to is the Amazon Packaging Certification Guideline document to see what they recommend and what is acceptable in Amazon's mind. So why test with WESTPAK? We are an ISTA certified lab with over 30 years of experience testing products and packages in many different industries. We are 100% employee owned and have expertise within our team to help guide you through the certification process. As you can imagine, with the variety of products Amazon sells, they have a lead time for certification testing in their lab. At WESTPAK, we're typically able to begin testing within 5 business days. Another benefit of testing with WESTPAK is the ability to test several designs if you are in the R&D phase of developing your package. This will allow you to make modifications and make changes based on testing results.
Let's take some time now to answer any questions you might have up to this point. The first question we have is, what happens if a package can't pass the Amazon test but experiences no damage in distribution through Amazon?
Thanks. That's a pretty good question. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to obtain certification. However, your product can still be sold and listed on Amazon. No certification will be granted, but typically if you don't see damage during shipment, then it will pass the test.
Thank you, Andrew. The second question we have is, why is atmospheric preconditioning for temp and humidity for 12 hours required?
This test is required to ensure that the corrugated is at equilibrium in our test environment. So if any humidity changes happen during shipment, say it rains or it's really dry, it's just required to make sure that the packaging and corrugated is at ambient before we begin the test.
Another question we have is, how long does it take to conduct a test?
Depending on the package type, testing usually takes around 2 to 3 days.
Thank you, Andrew. We'll have more time for questions at the end. Now we'll continue on with the presentation.
There are several common problems that we have helped our customers work through. Working with the Amazon requirements can be tricky. Knowing what to do and how to classify your product sometimes is confusing. We can help here at WESTPAK. If you see damage to the product during shipment or your package opens during shipment, We can help guide you to a better package design by determining the root cause and offering recommendations to move forward. Many of the problems we do see are addressed in the Amazon Packaging Certification Guideline document. We've mentioned this document a few times, but it's one of the most beneficial documents to review as a seller or vendor when you have decided to go through Amazon's FBA service. Definitely check it out. We'll provide a link to this document at the end of the presentation. Here at WESTPAK, we are a solutions-based company. We have helped several customers throughout many different industries solve issues related to packaging and product testing. We are an official participant in the APASS network, along with ISTA certification and ISO 17025 accreditation. Our testing services provide both simulation of the real-world distribution environments and stimulation testing to assess the mechanical properties of an item to ensure the packaging is adequate to protect its contents. The process for going through ISTA certification testing to the Amazon standard is relatively straightforward. First, you'll need to enroll through Amazon's Vendor or Seller Central. This step is required to get your ASIN and all the product information required for the certification documentation. You would then contact WESTPAK to request a quote. After you go through the quotation process, we will provide you with a proposal for testing. You would then send your samples to WESTPAK. It is important to send new product free of damage. We would then be able to proceed with testing and provide a test report with certification upon a passing test result. The final step would be submit the certification document through Amazon's vendor or seller portal. One of the most frequently asked questions we get here at WESTPAK is, how do I pass testing? The most beneficial step to take is to plan ahead with your packaging design. By planning ahead and designing your package for hazards in the distribution environment, you will ensure that your package is robust enough to protect the product and get to the customer undamaged. If your product type is an SIOC, we recommend performing a few in-house pre-tests. This is an easy and low-cost way to test the effectiveness of your package against drops. If sending a heavy product, ensure that the package system has adequate cushioning to prevent bottoming out and contact with the drop surface. If your product type is an FFP, use the e-commerce environment to your advantage and create a more generic, low-cost package. And finally, to expedite the testing process of certification, make sure to gather all necessary information, including the ASIN and catalog specifications. There are a few failure avoidance strategies that we can recommend. Use the worst case scenario mentality. This means imagine your package is being handled by the worst delivery driver and gets tossed over a fence. You want to make sure that your package provides enough protection to your product to withstand that impact. We also recommend using a 6-sided carton or box with adequate protection for your product. It's a lot easier and more efficient for a 6-sided box or package to go through the distribution cycle compared to an irregular shaped package. Another tip that we would recommend is adequately protecting the fragile parts of your product by using supporting material like foam or inserts. If there are any hanging or loose parts, make sure they are secured and well protected. For liquids, ensure that they are packed in a sealed plastic bag so if it does leak, the leak is contained. Amazon has also put together another document that goes over common failure modes for FFP and SIOC packages. Some of the most common failures that have been observed are packages that need tape or are not securely sealed, and packages with protrusions such as hang tabs or handles. Another failure mode that has been seen is box deformation due to weak packaging material that deforms with hand pressure. Carton ruptures, punctures, and tears are also common failure modes that have been observed. As far as the design of the package, the most common failure modes are cutouts with exposed product and packages that do not have 6 sides. On this slide, we have examples of the common failure modes taken from that Amazon document. On the top left, you see a package that needs tape. Any cartons that have folding tabs like the one shown can easily open up during shipment. The simple solution is just add tape. As you can see in the picture below, any package with foldable bottoms also need tape to prevent the package from folding in on itself during shipment. Without tape, the potential for the product to fall out or the box to become deformed is significantly higher than a package with tape. In the top middle, you see a package with a hang tab or a protrusion. The protrusions can cause issues because they can become caught during the shipping process and potentially tear off and leave an opening. A simple solution is to remove the hang tab or fold it over and add tape as seen in the picture in the middle right. On the far right side of the slide, you see a package that is not a 6-sided box. It's highly recommended to ship this type of package in an overbox with 6 sides. And finally, on the bottom, you see a package with a cutout exposing the product. This is not recommended at all. Any opening can get caught really easily or damage the exposed product. Since many times PFP products are sent with other items in a multi-shipment, the potential for damage can be pretty high. Depending on what else is in that shipment, the most common failure modes have been mangled product, broken product or packaging, and leaking liquids. Again, you want to ensure that your product packaging provides enough protection to the product to prevent hazards from causing damage in the distribution environment. Testing your packages to the ISTA 6 Amazon standards will help reveal potential issues and provide you with greater confidence in your packaging. Every packaging and product situation is different. We do have a few general solutions that we could recommend to improve your packaging. First, keep it simple. The simpler your package design is, the easier it is to modify in case there are issues. Test your designs early. Ensure there are no issues when you are packaging your product. Again, you can easily conduct a drop test at your facility at no cost and be able to inspect your product for damage. This will allow you to verify that your cushioning is adequate for shipping. If you do make changes, try to only change one thing at a time and then test. You don't want to change multiple things and have the results change and not be able to identify what happened. If you're having issues or are struggling, consult an expert. After you obtain certification, there are a few steps you can take to make sure you maintain that certification. Changes to the packaging, either construction or material, must be recertified. Changes to the product design must also be recertified. If you observe damage to the product during shipment to the customer multiple times, it's time to step back, rethink your packaging design, and then recertify. As a heads up, decertification is a possibility. If there are several returns due to product damage, your product will get flagged and potentially be decertified and delisted. On this page, there are several references I would recommend reading if you are planning to have your package certified. This presentation will be provided to you at the end of the webinar, and the links on the slide will take you to the listed reference page.
Andrew, thank you for this fine presentation. Let's use the time remaining for questions. The first question we have is, can you elaborate on the benefits of receiving certification?
Sure. As mentioned, there's several benefits to receiving certification. One of the largest benefits is reducing in cost. If you get your package certified, the ASIN, depending on if it's FFP, SIOC, or PFP, it'll go through an expedited shipping process in Amazon's facilities. And if you are designing your package as an FFP, you are saving on those reduction of cost of any extra packaging materials.
The next question I have is, can you assist in package design?
At WESTPAK, we don't actually design any packaging, but we work with several packaging vendors to help you get your package designed properly. We can actually test those designs on site as well to help you make sure that your package does not, or your product does not get damaged.
The next question I have is, does Amazon use customized sizes of overboxes? If yes, what tests are to be carried out to confirm its performance?
So this one, Amazon does use several different sizes of overboxes for the overbox procedure. They go by the principle, if it fits, it ships. So basically, whatever size box, overbox will fit the product, it'll ship.
The next question I have is, how is ISTA 6 equivalent to ISO requirements? Is there any gaps?
So there's essentially two different test standard types. The ISTA 6 Amazon standard is specifically designed for Amazon's distribution environment. ISO does have specific tests like drop or vibration that are similar, but the ISTA 6 Amazon standards are designed specifically for Amazon's distribution environment.
Thank you. One last question. ISTA Amazon drop tests only impact 11 or 12 possible orientations out of a total of 26 possible. Even if one tests 1,000 products, all of them will be tested exactly the same way, missing all the other orientations. Some products are fairly sensitive only in specific orientations, but if that sensitivity isn't tested, then it could pass the test, but not real distribution. Do you think this is a concern? The same would go for the fact that only a single sequence of drops are used in testing, and yet in real distribution, all orientations are tested and in differing random sequences.
So for this is a little bit of a tricky answer, but the standards were designed to encompass just general shipping. So although we were not testing in every orientation possible, we're just trying to simulate random chances of occurring. So the potential for damage is there, and for the Overbox standard, the product is actually placed in the most damage-prone location of the package, and then we focus the drop sequence on that corner.
If you missed anything or would like to listen to this webinar again, please go to WESTPAK's website at www.westpak.com under the Resources Webinar tab. The webinar materials will be uploaded within the next couple of days. Submit all test questions and quote requests to WESTPAK using the Contact Us link here or tab on our website. We will be sending you a short survey within a few minutes. Please take a moment to give us your input. We highly value your comments regarding today's webinar. You'll also have the opportunity to ask questions and suggest future webinar topics. We have 2 test lab locations, one in San Jose, California, and one in San Diego, California. Please contact us with any test questions, need for information, or if you'd like a quote for testing. Thank you all for attending. I am Andrew Bevel. Make it a great day.